Hey everybody, I figured I'd get this live video started for Facebook. Everyone wanted me to live stream it on here, so I'll keep y'all updated on my radio show. Bear with me, this semester I have to do it on a virtual studio instead of going on campus and doing it on their studio, so I'm not used to none of this virtual stuff, so just bear with me and you get to hear my show in a minute. There's an option on here that says Facebook where I guess I could live stream it from my computer to Facebook, but I'm not sure how to do that yet, so I'll just go live on here, and whenever I figure this virtual studio out, I can just link it from here to my Facebook. So just bear with me, and my show starts in 4 minutes. I may not play no music today on my show. I wanted to play some motivational music, but until I figure out everything, I'll probably just introduce my show. There's a lot of questions people was asking so they can get to know who I am as a host. So whenever they listen to my other shows, they'll know who I am and a little bit about me. But I'll try to play some music today because I did ask some people what songs they would like to hear that's motivational and that's related to my show. But we'll just have to see how that goes. I'll get better at this within time. Got 3 minutes to go. And if there's any questions about my show or just anything you'd like to know, just leave it in the comments and I'll get back with you as soon as I can. And also with the songs, if there's any songs you would like to listen to on here, just let me know. I may not play it today, but next Tuesday I can play some songs once I get used to everything. Got 1 more minute to go and my show will start. Alright, I'm going to start my show. So, hello everyone. Let me make sure my microphone's on. There was an error getting your device's sound stream. Please retry or consider selecting a different microphone input. Alright, that's interesting. My manager said he would be listening to me today to make sure everything went smoothly, so bear with me. Alright, I know my people on Facebook can hear me, but I don't know if people can hear me on Virtual Studio, so hopefully my manager will let me know that soon. Alright, I'm just going to get started. So today, I'm just going to inform y'all about stuff about my show. So just information and basic stuff in case you want to keep watching me every Tuesday from 12 to 1. So this semester, I'm going to have different topics. It's going to be motivational. My radio show is called Therapeutic Tuesdays. So every Tuesday is going to be a different motivational topic, such keep me going, stuff to keep you going, because sometimes, especially during this pandemic, we all need motivation to keep us going, especially with all the negative that's going on in the world. We got to find something that's going to motivate us and have positive vibes in our life. Next, I'll talk about stuff about suicide prevention and awareness. Everyone that knows me knows that suicide prevention and awareness is important to me because I feel like every life is precious and every life has a purpose to follow. Other stuff I'll talk about this semester includes self-care routines because that goes along with motivation. If you have a self-care routine, more than likely you'll want to keep going every day, get up out of bed, even if you have depression. I know some people with depression, they stay in bed all the time, and maybe they just need a self-care routine to help keep them going, whether it's music, different healthy food, or maybe exercise routines. But I'll get back with that at a later date when I talk about self-care routines. Another show that you can expect to see, I'm going to do motivational Bible verses because I love reading the Bible, and I don't know if everyone's religious, but I am, and some Bible verses does help me. I'll also talk about tips on dealing with stress, especially with me being a college student. I probably need this as well because college can be very stressful. But even if you're not a college student, just day-to-day life chores, jobs, having kids, just everything can be stressful. So I'm going to have tips on dealing with stress. I'm pretty sure in October it's Domestic Violence Awareness Month, so I'm going to go over like different hotlines in case you're going through domestic violence, just advice on how to get out, and just have some therapeutic words to help get you through your day. And please feel free to share too, because I want my show to be able to help other people who might need it or just wants to listen. Next, I plan on doing mental health awareness. So on one show, I'm going to talk about different mental health conditions, whether it's depression, schizophrenia, anxiety. I'm going to talk about the different, I don't know if you call it keyers, but like there's different stuff to help you and make you aware of why some people might, be sad, or, just why people act the way they do. Because I am a psychology major, so as part of what I'm learning. So I'm going to use what I'm learning to help adapt to the world around me. I'm also going to go over veterans' mental health awareness, because every year there's so many veterans who they have PTSD and they have other mental health stuff going on. So I want to try to help them and help people be aware to what's going on in our world. All right. And that's not going to be the end of my topics. These are 9, and I have 15 shows. So if you have any topics that you want to hear, you can email me at hetanner@iu.edu, and I'll get back with you. Next, I'm going to talk about my experience, why I wanted to do this radio show, and why I want to be a motivational speaker. So, back in middle school, I went through some rough times, but when I went through those rough times, I started writing motivational poems to help me feel better. Sometimes I'd write them in class. Maybe I should have been doing work in class, but I would have wrote motivational poems. And then one day it spoke to me that I wanted to be a motivational speaker. So once I got into high school, my 9th grade year, I created a YouTube channel called Stars of the Heaven Speeches. I don't post on there a lot, but I may post this video to YouTube. It just depends. But yeah, along with my experience, I started writing speeches, and once I got to college, I took a communications class, and I am minoring in communications. My major is psychology, and my minor is communications, because someday I want to be a psychologist, and I want to be a motivational speaker too. Basically, I feel like God put me on earth to help other people, whether it's being a psychologist and going to different schools and helping motivate and uplift kids, because as humans, we have good things going on and we have bad things going on. So the least we can do is spread the love and help one another out whenever we can. Another thing about my experience is sometimes when I do art, I like doing motivational artwork. So I'll put motivational quotes in there. I do a lot of stuff to help uplift the generation. Sometimes I may post on my Facebook Live different speeches. It's just whenever I have time, because being a college student, I have a lot of work, unfortunately. Next, a lot of people wanted to ask me questions about getting to know your host, which is me. That's another thing. If you ever want to help co-host one of my shows, whether it's a topic that you heard that you want to help me with, all you got to do is email me, and I'll say my email again, hetanner@iu.edu. And we can co-host together, and we can do a show together. So some of the questions that people has asked is, how do you deal with hardship? Which sometimes I don't deal with hardships very good, even though I am supposed to be a motivational person, or at least I want to be a motivational person. But sometimes I deal with hardship by painting. Painting's kind of my outlet to my stress in life. So I love doing Zentangles. So sometimes I'll paint Zentangles. Sometimes I like painting different sceneries. Or sometimes it's just a bunch of abstract artwork. It just gets my feelings out on canvas, wood, acrylic glass, you name it. Whatever I can paint on, that's kind of how I deal with my hardships. And like I said earlier, I love to write. Whenever I write, it just helps me relieve my stress of whatever's going on. My hobbies, well, as I said, my hardships, I love to do art. I love to paint. I love to go walking whenever it's safe and it's not too hot. I love to write. Sometimes I watch TV, but I'm not really a big TV person. I listen to music. I love listening to different podcasts that helps get me motivated so I can help motivate other people, which I was thinking about getting a podcast. I just need to know how to do that first. Okay, 3. It says, what was it like when you first started doing what you love? That's a good question. They didn't give me any context on this question, but I know like when I first started writing poems, because I love writing poems, it has helped me make me feel better, about the world around me, because it was like the paper and pen was my escape from reality. Or like whenever I paint, like I just go into a complete different world. It's like my art world. It's like nothing can go wrong when I'm writing or when I'm painting. Or like now when I'm doing my shows, I feel like I'm helping someone, so it makes me feel good because all I want to do is spread the love, spread the peace, and let everyone know that everything's going to be okay. 4. What's your talent? I like to believe I'm a good writer. Someday I want to come out with a few books. That's one of my other dreams. I want to be an author. I want to be a professional artist, which I guess I am a professional artist, but I'm not all the way out there. What are your passions? Well, I love animals. My favorite is probably kitty cats, even though sometimes my cats get on my nerves. I love my kitty cats. I love any animal you can think of. As long as it's lovable and fluffy and I can pet it, I love animals. I really love nature. I love going outside, looking at the trees, looking at butterflies, hearing the birds chirping. It just helps my day get better, whether it was good or whether it was bad. What do I dream about? I dream about a lot of things, actually. Listening to the news every day, there's a lot of like depressing stuff on the news. So my dream is I want to go to college for 4 years and get my bachelor's degree in psychology, and then I want to get a minor in communications. And then I'm going to go to master's school for another 2 years so I can get another, master's degree in mental health counseling. So I guess my dream is to be a psychologist, a mental health counselor. I want to work with kids because I know when I was in middle school, when I was a kid, I never thought life would get any better. So I just that's my age group I want to work with. I want to work with kids and whatever they're going through, whether it's at home, at school, the environment, or just whatever. I want to let kids know that everything's going to be okay. Everything will work out. Of course, in life, you got your ups and downs. Like, you got your valleys and you got your mountains. But, a song I've always heard is the God on the mountain is still the God in the valley. You still got hope, whether you're high up in the mountain and everything's going good, and whether you're in the valley and everything's going bad. Everything is always going to work out and everything's always going to be okay. Another dream I have is I just want to travel the world. I would love to be able to do speeches or conventions in all 50 states. I just want to get my message across to people that you matter, and we should just all spread the love whenever possible. I love to go to different countries and talk over there. That's one reason I love learning different languages, is I want to be able to communicate with any person I come across, whether it's just having a basic conversation, a deep conversation, make friends. I just wish I knew every language in the world, as crazy as that sounds, because I just love communicating with people and helping people. And I feel like the more languages I know, the more I can just help people. What have I overcame? I've overcame a lot. I used to have anxiety really bad, like social anxiety, which I did a lot of research on that, especially since I'm a psychology student. And it used to be pretty bad, my social anxiety. Like, I just didn't want to socialize with people. And that was back when I first started wanting to be a motivational speaker. And it was crazy because whenever you're a motivational speaker, you're in front of everybody, but I had this anxiety, like, I can't be in front of all these people. So I got over my social anxiety. Now I can talk to pretty much anyone without, being anxious or, being afraid, what are they going to think about me, or, just anything that runs through your mind when you're an anxious person. I've overcame my lack of confidence a lot. Used to, I didn't have a lot of confidence in myself, but that's when I started doing my self-care routines. I started looking in the mirror every morning, and someone told me to pick out 3 things that you like about yourself. It don't have to be a lot, but just say some stuff you like about yourself, put a smile on your face, and know that God put you here for a reason. And that's what kept me going, because I know God put me here for some purpose. I feel like it's become a psychologist and a motivational speaker, but God might speak to me again and say, hey, no, this is your purpose. So I know I'm living for some kind of purpose, and I feel like it's to help people. What's my favorite animal? It's a good one. That's very hard. I mean, I love cats, but then when I see a puppy, even though I can't have a puppy, it breaks my heart. I don't know, I get so overwhelmed and happy when I see an animal. I'm like, hi, baby, how are you? I'm weird. But if you're talking about zoo animals, I love pandas. Even though when you walk where the elephants are, it kind of stinks. I love looking at elephants. I just kind of don't like the smell, but elephants are nice. I don't know, I'm just fascinated with a lot of animals. Snow leopards. Just any animal, I guess. That's a hard question. 9. What's your favorite song? That's a good question. My favorite song, well, if you're talking about motivational, like stuff that will get me up and motivated and keep me going on, it's Every Storm Runs Out of Rain by Gary Allan. That's kind of my life motto on what I live by. Every storm does run out of rain, no matter how dark or how light your day may be. Just remember, night always turns into day, and every heartache will eventually wash away. Just like when it rains, it washes everything away. If you had the chance to get a message across to a large group of people, what would your message be? That's another good question. I have a lot of messages I want to get across to people, but I guess it just depends on what large group of people. I guess if it's anybody in general, there's a large group of people, I just want to let everybody know that they matter. A lot of people, especially when I scroll on Facebook, they're like, what's my purpose on life? What am I doing here? Well, since I've been going to church a lot, I did realize, and I realized this before, but I realize it more now since I'm into church, that God put you here for a reason. You might not know what that reason is, but that's why you're here. Everybody has a purpose to fulfill on earth. You matter. Everything's going to be okay. And no matter what people say, do you. Live your life. Live your life to uplift this dying generation. And just because, everyone says this generation is so negative, and I mean, it is a lot of bad stuff going on in this generation, but I'd like to believe, like Luke Bryan says in this song called Most People Are Good, I don't think this world is as bad as it looks. I mean, we got a lot of bad stuff going on in Louisville. Just like today, we're supposed to be having a lot of people block off the interstates and all that. But I think at the end of the day, you do have a lot of good people on earth. It's just the media, for some reason, always likes to broadcast the bad stuff. And I never got that. I feel like the news channels should start broadcasting more positivity stuff, like to uplift people, because if you're always on the news, to me, you're always going to be in a bad mood, because, I mean, that's all it is nowadays, is just negative stuff. But I go outside to my neighborhood, and I see a lot of good stuff happening sometimes, like people being nice to each other. When I go to the store, just small things that people does for each other that we don't even realize that puts a smile on our face. I feel like there's a lot more positivity in this earth than what people or the media tries to let us see. What's your favorite memory of your childhood best friend? That's a good question. My childhood best friend, her name was Catherine. We went from kindergarten all the way to 5th grade together, and we always had a good time. I feel like my favorite memory with my childhood best friend was when me and her did art club together, because I've been doing art ever since kindergarten. I've been doing art competitions, painting, old pastels, drawing, you name it. I've done it since kindergarten. And Catherine, me and her used to do art together. We used to have our own art, or it wasn't our own art club, but we was a part of a club. And me and her would just paint, and we would eat. I remember we ate those like Ritz peanut butter crackers. Sometimes it was Ritz cheddar crackers. We drank fruit punch, and just, we was kids. And I mean, when you was a kid, I mean, everything, I mean, you didn't have no worry in the world. And sometimes I wish I was a kid. Life was a lot easier, which I'm sure everyone can agree. Life was a lot easier when you was a kid. What historical event inspires you the most? There's a lot of historical events that inspired me, but I really love studying the women rights movement. And I know some people might be like, ugh, feminist, because I guess feminist has a bad rep or a bad reputation. I don't really know if I would identify myself as a feminist. I mean, I'm not hardcore feminist, but, you know, I do believe, probably like every other woman, that we can do everything that a man can do. Now, sure, maybe sometimes a man can do certain things maybe a little better, but I feel like women and men should have equal rights, and we do for the most part, except for when some women, we get discrimination sometimes. Like, I'm taking my cultural psychology class, and I was reading these messages yesterday on our discussion board, and it said, when was the time that you was discriminated? And a girl got on there and said, I was discriminated when I was in middle school because I was in a workshop class, and a lot of guys felt like I couldn't make the same stuff they could, and she quit. She probably made it better than they did. Just saying. But anyways, back to the historical event that inspires me the most. There was this women's rights activist. Her name was Alice Paul, and that's probably one of my favorite people in history. I watched this movie before called Iron Jaw Angels, and I don't know the actor, but she was playing as Alice Paul. And it was so sad, you know, they get sent to jail, prison for trying to fight for their rights to vote. That's why if you're a woman, you need to go out and vote, because a lot of women died and a lot of women put up with a lot of stuff to get our right to vote. So if you're a woman, you should get out there and vote. But Alice Paul did a lot of stuff. They used to put like these iron, like, I don't know what you call it, like these iron things in their mouth, and they would force feed these women that was protesting their right to vote. They'd send them to jail, and then they'd put these, I don't know what you call it, iron clench things in their mouth because they refused to eat, and they, you know, put it in their mouths, and they would, you know, force the women to eat while they was in prison. So if you're a woman, I really encourage you to go out there and vote, because this event inspires me, because as a woman, I know years ago I didn't have all these rights that I do now. So if I could thank them, I would thank them. Next, what would you change about the world? What I would change about the world is I wish violence would come to an end. I really hope, I know y'all can hear me on my Facebook, but I really hope they can hear me on my virtual studio, because my manager hasn't got in touch with me yet. That might be a good thing. He might be able to hear me. I hope. I guess, anyways, what would you change about the world? So, like I was saying, whenever I hear about any kind of violence, it just breaks my heart. You got all these precious babies or just anyone, any life is precious, my opinion. Well, it should be a fact, but anyways, every life is precious, every life holds a purpose. So if I could change one thing about this world, I would change the violence. Like, I feel like the violence is, it's sad. I would get rid of violence, I'd get rid of hatred, I'd get rid of poverty, just anything negative. Human life should nourish, and I feel like it would nourish if we would all spread the love. And it's not always about money. You don't have to have money to be able to help people. It could just be a simple compliment. You don't know what someone's going through. You could be walking down the street one day, and you see someone, hey, I like your shirt, or I like your shoes. And whatever they was going through, like if they was having a bad day, you probably get a smile out of them. That's what everyone should be doing on earth, is trying to help uplift one another. So if I could change anything about this world, I would just take all the negative stuff out, and we just have a love and peace world. As everyone calls me, a 60 flower child wannabe. Maybe I was born in the wrong generation. What's your favorite food? Well, I still love my mashed potatoes. Let me tell you, when I was a little girl, I would eat 5, 6, 7, 8 bowls big of mashed potatoes. I remember my sister, she would make homemade mashed potatoes, and I would just sit there just eating 5, 6 bowls of mashed potatoes. And even though I still like mashed potatoes, that was more my childhood favorite. I feel like now I love ribs, barbecue ribs. They're my favorite. Whenever me and my boyfriend goes out to eat, you can see us eating ribs and mashed potatoes. You name it. That's some good food. My last question, which this isn't going to be the end of my radio show, because I got 30 more minutes. Where are you from? I'm from Louisville, Kentucky. I know they say Louisville, Kentucky has a lot of bad rep. We're going through a lot of hard times right now. But other than this year, I've always loved living in Louisville. We have our bad times, but what place don't have their bad times? I mean, every place has violence. Every place has people that are mean. I think when you live in Louisville, you just make the best out of it. Now, right now, it might be kind of hard to make the best out of it because you want to try to stay safe. But growing up, I mean, I never really felt scared. I mean, I just made the best out of the situation, which is how I try to motivate people, whatever you're going through, just try to make the best out of it. It is very hard because I do deal with my depression and my sadness at times. But that's why I have my self-care routines, and that's why I try to listen to positive music. Another important thing, never bottle your feelings up. It's not healthy, and there's someone out there that will understand you, and even if they don't understand you, you always have someone. Sorry about that. He can't hear me, which, like I said, I'm not new. I'm new to this virtual studio. I can't click on my microphone settings. That's just wonderful. I know y'all can hear me, but I need my radio manager to hear me too. It won't let me click on settings. Maybe I can plug back in this. Well, people has already missed half of my show if they try to rely on this and not my Facebook. That's just wonderful. All right. I am back. He's just going to let the music play on my virtual studio for now, and till I get my microphone figured out. I mean, I guess at least it it recorded on here, but I really need it on my radio station, so that sucks. I've been talking for 30 minutes, I guess, wasting my time. Well, I mean, at least y'all was listening to me, but I need people on my radio station to listen to me, too. I might need a new microphone.